Hello and welcome to the Mental Men. Now you will see we have a mental lady here. It's my wife. So yes, there is a reason why my wife Charmaine has joined us on our show today. So I'm Fish the Fat Man. I'm with Justin Case.
Howdy, everybody.
And of course, my lovely wife, Charmaine. Yes,
Hello.
I'm punching above my weight and I need to put it in the comments page. Now, just before we get into depth into things today, this show is recorded out of Adelaide, and the help centres and the phone numbers we give are mainly for Adelaide, but the crisis lines as such are all Australia-wide, national-wide. So, so basically we are going to talk about where can you go other than an emergency room if you need help.
Yeah, I think that's vitally important to anybody who's suffering any sort of mental health issues that they feel they can't cope with
That's right.
personally. To be able to reach out and do that sort of thing, whether it be via phone or in person.
And I think half the battle is no one knows where to go. So we thought today we would help you with that a little bit, talking from a bit of experience, but also having done some research, just giving you a few tools where you can walk in and what sort of times. There's a lot of restrictions around where you can and can't go. Because when you're feeling in that space, you don't want to have to sit on Google for 3 hours and try and work out where's the best place to go, besides obviously the emergency room, which, as we all know,
It's
is
not a healthy place to visit
not
when you're
good
suffering
for your-
mental health issues.
Correct. So, and also with all the other restrictions involved there as well, I think you
Yeah.
probably don't want to be there. So,
Now, look, before we get too far into our show, let me just say that if you or anyone you know is having a crisis, you should ring the mental health crisis number on 131465. We recommend a mature audience, as the themes we talk about are not suitable for others or not suitable for children, and coarse language might be used from time to time. Now, our views on this show are strictly our own. They are our opinions and no one else's. We are not doctors or healthcare professionals. We're just two blokes with a ton of lived experience looking to lend a hand to anyone who needs it. Now, we also ask that you respect other people's privacy on this show. Even though we're telling all, not everyone wants to have their time in the limelight. So avoid using people's names and be respectful of what other people are going through. There you go.
Very good.
And we're back. So, last week we were talking with Tim and he talked about
His experiences with
yeah,
his mental health issues and how he got some help.
yep.
Yeah.
And, you know, how he went to the mental health emergency ward at Modbury Hospital there, and he was looked after really well. My experience when I went to Noarlunga and Flinders, I was taken in straight away. So you are taken in straight away. You're not left in the public when you have mental health issues.
Or from the experiences that we know of.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a really good and important thing for everyone to know, because if you're in crisis, the last thing you want to do is be looking around. Where should I go? Hey Google, where should I go now? And blah 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 blah. Oops, not turn to Google off. Don't really need to be told where I want to go now.
I think one of the big issues. I spent a couple of hours, or a few hours actually, on Friday night, trying to jump online and find places in Metro Adelaide.
it's actually hard to find.
The-
It doesn't just jump out at you.
No, it doesn't. And look, there is a page that the state government has got up there that lists all mental health services.
Yeah.
But you've got to try to find that first of all. It doesn't pop up the very top of Google search or anywhere like that.
And then you still have to decipher what information they put in
Yeah.
there and is it relevant to you.
Yeah, and not to be a negative Nelly there, but the majority of the listed mental health services that were on there were 9 to 5. Now, I don't know about you,
No.
but I know that mental health breakdowns don't happen from just 9 to 5.
No, they don't pick and choose when they're going to hit either.
It just,
And often I think the situation is when we're at work or if we're busy, we're a little bit more distracted. And it might be actually when you get home that night and have a bit of time to think. That could be
That's a
your worst and
good
more
point.
vulnerable time of night, time of the day. So now everything is closed, but now I'm feeling really bad and I think I need to go somewhere urgently. So after hours mental health care is something we are talking a little bit more about, because we do know that all the hospitals and facilities are there
oh, that's right. I
during
mean,
the day, but
you know, you need that one-on-one help. You can definitely go to an emergency service triage, hospital emergency department. Sorry, is what I'm trying to say here.
If all else fails, that's where you go.
That's where you go.
And like and so in Australia, everything is relevant on this page except for the Urgent Mental Health Care Centre, which is what we're going to go into a little bit more detail about. But we've got a Beyond Blue. Now, Charmaine, you've used Beyond Blue not because you were depressed, because you didn't know how to handle me when I started going down.
correct. And I have just had some conversations with some other people or support people who are struggling, and they're like, they don't know, they feel like they're saying all the wrong things and they don't know what to do. When you lie there at night, you've just had some confrontation and you know that you've probably not helped the situation because we've done what we do, because we're humans and we respond. And Beyond Blue are really good in that they have an online chat, and we all love chatting. We do it on Messenger, we do it on all the social media. It's a way of our life now, is chatting. You can chat with Optus, you can chat with anybody, but you can also chat with Beyond Blue, and you can literally sit there and just ask questions. They
Okay.
will ask if you're the person in harm, and they will ask if you're safe. That is always their first protocol, just to establish that you're not in a really
That's across the board, though.
volatile situation, and then they'll start answering questions, and you can go quite in depth in what
Okay.
they say and what you get. And then you also have a script. You have that information because they send it to you to your phone, or you can actually save it on your chat as well. And
So
it's
you're
really
not
helpful.
left hanging there waiting for information.
No,
or
they feed
waiting.
it to you straight away, and you
Okay.
can ask questions. I don't know what to say. This is how he's feeling. I feel helpless, which I feel would be a really big thing. Is as the support person, you feel helpless. There's nothing you can do. You don't have a quick fix, and you need to know that maybe if I said things this way, or if I went down this path, and it could be. They will give you places to go, to call, what steps to put in place.
Because
But
in the
it's-
beginning, you the golden no-no of things not to say to someone suffering from mental health is, you're saying, well, what have you got to be sad about? And you were fine when you went to bed last night.
Correct.
So, hence going to Beyond Blue and getting what not to say and things like that, definitely very important.
And the reason I really condone it and support it is because those changes in comments and verbal communication can actually make the difference between pushing someone over the edge as well. If someone is very volatile, you're not doing anything wrong by communicating and saying, look, I don't understand what's going on, or you were fine yesterday, just because that's how we feel. However, if you're being really cautious and know how to manage that, you can actually help the situation. And
'Cause
not,
you were in when I was at my bad times, you were my kryptonite.
correct,
And
because you don't know any different.
Yeah.
You just think,
like Justin could have said the same thing to me, would have bounced off. But and I think this is probably true in most
Yeah.
situations. Your loved one, your partner, is the one, because you care so much about what they say and what they think of you. It takes very little for what they say to push you over the edge or take you, another level higher. So,
And that was something that did worry me during Fisher's real low point, was the fact that I can say everything positive in the world to him to try to pull him out of the black dog hole that he was in. But it gets to a point where even I couldn't
no,
do any more to help.
that's
And
right.
that was upsetting from a mate's point of view for his mate. And when you get to that point that you just don't know what else to do and just try to convince the person to go into hospital, it's upsetting. Because you don't want people to go into hospital for
No.
mental health issues at all. You want to be able to help them as much as you can. But there is a limit that a carer, let's just call it a carer,
Yeah.
all right, a carer for somebody who's ill, to go ahead and try to help that person that they care about.
And one of the biggest pieces of advice I got from Beyond Blue, and I recall the first time I contacted them was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I just was so frustrated. And you get to a point going, I just can't do this. This is just insane. And the first thing they said was, don't take it personally. Don't take the interaction you're having with that person, if they are in that having a really tough time, don't take it personally, because it is very rarely that it is a personal attack on you. And this is why helping the carer role is actually really, I feel really strongly about, because we are needed, but we also have ourselves to look after. And 9 times out of 10 we have children and other people within the environment as well to look after, and we have to carry on. So we have to be able to manage that and support the other person as well, without being offended, getting too worked up and causing more friction and confrontation.
And you got that support directly from Beyond Blue. Now, I've not used Lifeline. I have personally used the mental triage line service. And today we are going to be talking about the Urgent Mental Health Care Centre, which has opened up on Grenfell Street.
It has. So this is a brand new facility. It is one of the first of its kind in Australia as well, and it's opened here in South Australia. And the concept of support is armchair environment. So that's the kind of tagline they use. Or lounge environment, armchair lounge environment. So you go there, it's beautifully fitted out, beautiful comfortable chairs, and it's laid out in a way that you can have conversations with either a psychologist, a counsellor, or a mental health nurse. So it's trying to create a much more relaxed environment as well.
We've got a video to show we've taken from their webpage.
And the most important thing about this place is that it is 24/7, 7 days a week. Walk up, or you can call up to make an appointment.
Now it's
You
on
can
the,
do
it's
it
down
either
the
way.
end of Grenfell Street. So basically, you know where the old S-Ben's chicane when we had the Adelaide Circuit here. Did we work out it was next door to the Aboriginal Art Centre?
Right next door to the Aboriginal Art Museum,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
towards the east end of this CBD.
So it's not deep in the city, so you don't have to
No.
worry about finding parks. Just park on, out in the parklands, and just a couple 100-metre walk to where you need to be. So,
But I think the great thing about that is it does. I keep reiterating this, but if you're feeling like crap at 4 o'clock in the morning, you've
need
got somewhere to go that isn't absolutely packed out with people
Yep.
that have been on the terps all night and broken a little finger and screaming their heads off in a triage emergency department, where for you in that state of mind that you're in, you don't need
You
that.
don't need to.
And what you'll see from this video as well, you don't walk into this beige doctor's office with a chair and a table and two chairs.
No, I believe
And
they
it's
have
like
a
an
receptionist
interrogation
there
room.
that welcomes you. And
So armchairs, there's picnic tables there. Let's just play the video, and then everyone will know what we're talking about. Then we'll have
Sounds
a
good.
discussion after this.
The Urgent Mental Health Centre is a new part of our system. It's the first of its type in Australia.
The Urgent Mental Health Care Centre is a crisis care facility. It helps people when they're in crisis, essentially.
So they come here and there's someone that's got lived experience and also a clinician just to help guide them through that situation.
From the moment that you walk into the UMHCC, you're greeted with a warm, welcoming face, someone who's been through a similar experience to you before.
People who really understand what it's like to